If you don't know about something and you want more information about something, ask from someone who knows about that thing or research for yourself, because if you're going to make a point about something that you don't have full knowledge about, that's not how you do things, honey. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're returning Sabi, hi baby, how you doing? Hope you're doing well, hope you're doing good. How are you feeling today? I hope you're doing well mentally, physically, emotionally, everything, J. And if you're new and you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Cleo Ndamane, a South African concert girl who just has so many opinions that she just can't keep them to herself. So today's topic is not for the weak-minded, for the ignorant. Today I'm going to be talking about something that is so controversial that some people just shy away from it, and that's where I come in. I will talk about anything and everything that I feel very strongly about or that I have some knowledge about. And if you have views about what I'm going to talk about today, please leave a comment down below. I want to see how you guys feel and think about these certain topics. So before I introduce the topic that I'm going to be talking about, don't mind the towel on my head because I just washed my hair and I need to condition it after this. So yeah, let me first say this. The topic that I'm going to be talking about is African black privilege, basically, something like that. And what we as Africans are allowed to say and what we are not allowed to say. Okay, because I am also African. The reason why I'm looking down is I'm looking at my laptop because yesterday I did a social experiment, more like last night. I did a social experiment on my Facebook account. Yes, I do have a Facebook account. So yesterday I did a social experiment and I went on my Facebook account. I'll probably add the screenshot somewhere there. So I'm using my laptop because I'm using my phone to record, so yeah. I went on my Facebook and I asked this, and I quote, this is what I posted. Hey, I have a question. Do you think black African people should be allowed to use the N-word? Okay, so a couple of people did comment on what they thought, and thank you to all those people that gave me their perspectives. I posed this question, right? I posted this question that was last night, and some people came and they said that yes, Africans should say the N-word. And I asked them, like individually, I asked them, why do you think Africans should be able to use the N-word? And most of them, they replied because they are black.
Some ain't black.
I continue to raise the argument because for me, that's not enough reason for you to be like, oh, because I'm black, I can say whatever I want. I can say whichever words I want to say. And most people were like, yes, because they are black. And then I asked them to elaborate as to why they think that being black is the main sole reason someone should be able to say the N-word. And then they would be like, because they are black people. And then I would be like, and then I would ask, so do you think that the color of their skin is the main reason or can be the sole reason as to why someone can say that specific word, with or without historical background or historical impact from that specific word? And they would be like, most of them were like, they are black people and the word is dead. This person used a very big word. Let me see if I can find it because wow. So this person said the word is a derogatory word for black people by non-blacks. Now I know the historical reasons or historical background of the word, right? And some people, they are not really educated in terms of that specific word or the specific culture that comes with that word, if I'm putting it right. So let me put this down. Okay, what I feel about African people saying the N-word, I feel, and this is a very strong belief and not just an opinion, it's a belief, I believe that African people should not be allowed to use the N-word, because we as Africans, the word does not impact us the same way it impacts an African American person, right? Yes, in Africa back then, there were words that were used on African people by white people, white farmers, that were derogatory, that are equivalent or not so equivalent to the N-word, right? Now, the history of the N-word, the full word Negro, it was used by white scientists to specifically group people from certain parts of the world, right? And I saw this other picture, I'm not sure if I still have it, where it looked like an old poster from back then. As I'm doing my research, it says Negroid black race. So black African person is regarded or was regarded back then as a person of a Negroid, right? And then there is the Australioid, which is the Australian Aborigine, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, Aborigine and Papuan race. So people that were originally from the Australian region or plain. I still need to do my research on that because I am not familiar with that specific race. I just also wanted to say that as I was editing this video, I also continued to do my research because I realized that I didn't really speak much on that specific part of the video, including the races. So I am going to include the names of the races that were created back then somewhere here, including the map, so that you can see or get an idea of exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, thank you for watching this because this is really time wasting, but I'm sorry. Continue watching the video. Okay, I finally found the picture. I'm sorry if the angle changed because I just found what I was looking for. So back then, during the late 18/19th century, during the late 19th century, I found the original picture and I'm so glad so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So back then, this poster says the races of men, and then it says there's the red people, which are the Indian people, the native Indian people, right? And then it has the yellow people, the yellow man, who is the Mongolian people from East Asia, if I'm not mistaken, East Asia. Yeah, East Asia, I'm right, yes. And then there is the white man / Caucasian man, which are the European men and women with European roots, right? And then we have the brown Malay people, which are the specifically Indian, if I'm not mistaken, the brown people, which are like the Indian and people of that specific region, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm wrong, right? And then we have the black men, which are the African people with African roots and descendants, right? So as much as they are from Africa and they are Africans, and race isn't supposed to be an issue because race doesn't really exist. It's not a biological concept. It is rather a concept that white scientists created in order for them to feel superior and divide and degrade other people with different skin tones than them, right? So back to the issue of the N-word. So the N-word, it was taken from the word Negro, right? But they turned it into a very derogative word, right? And that was the word that they used to describe slaves that they had back then, that they took from Africa, that they stripped their African roots from, and they treated them like they were property or things that they could sell and replace and whatsoever, right? So even in like fields of science, you would find out that African people were used to be tested on as like testing animals or something like that. I'm sorry if that's very triggering. I'm really sorry, but I'm trying to educate other people. I am very sorry. So they were used as guinea pigs, whether it was gynecology or cardiology, whichever field of science, they were used because they were treated as things or guinea pigs, right? They were stripped from humanity, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. So, fast forward to now. In America today, the word has been culturally accepted because they were taken away. This is my view. They were taken away from their origin country or their country of birth, their country where they had a culture, where they had an origin, where they had their own system. They were taken and they were brought to this land, this foreign land that they don't know of and that they know nothing about, and they had nothing. They were stripped from their names, their cultures, literally everything. I feel that it is very appropriate that Black Americans or people of color who reside in America find the word, they have made the word neutral amongst each other. It has now been a part of their culture, right? They have created their own culture because they were stripped from the culture that they had back home. I hope that makes sense. Now, we as Africans, we have our own culture. As much as we were also mistreated, our ancestors were also mistreated, and they were treated as slaves. Most of us in Africa still have our original culture, still have our original traditions, still have our original language, right? Our mother language, our mother tongue language that we created to communicate amongst each other, right? And if we take the word from their now, this is about being allowed to use the word, right? I personally feel like we shouldn't be allowed to use the word. Like, yes, you can use the word, but don't use it as if it is your own, that as if you can relate to it, if you get my point. Because Africans don't have the historical background of the word compared to African Americans, to my knowledge. I have not seen any historical textbook, I've not seen any historical website or any historical research on that word being used, or any records of the word, or whatever it may be, of that specific word being used on Africans, right? Now, don't get me wrong, if you feel like you know about something that I don't know, comment down below or send me a DM so that we can have a conversation about this. There were also derogatory words, as I mentioned, that were used on us. For example, the K word that is banned in South Africa. Now, no one can use it. You're not allowed to use it. The D word, e.g. utaki. They used to use that word on our ancestors to degrade them. And your people. Someone actually mentioned this, and thank you, because I never really realized how that word can be so oppressing up until I saw that specific post. And I was like, wow, I didn't really realize that. So Africans shouldn't be allowed to use the word because we don't have a historical attachment to the word. We have our own.
I'm just not ready for all of this. It's just...
The word has been culturally accepted by African Americans as part of their culture, given that they barely have a culture. They created their own culture, hip-hop, blues, soul food. Most of these things were... that's a whole entire different video. This was just about that specific thing. So if you're African or South African and you're watching this, I hope you got my point. I tried to explain as hard as I could because I can't really explain something when I feel really deeply about it or I have a strong belief on it, because when it comes to stuff like that, I become very, very emotional. And when I become like, not like emotional, like, no, like I become very strongly emoted. That is not a word, but I have created it. I become strongly attached to that specific topic, which might pull back my point about that topic. But I tried to explain it as hard as I could. I hope you understood. I hope if you didn't know, at least it's something that you know now. I really tried to explain as hard as I could without losing the point, even though I lost the point multiples of places there, but I tried. I think that's around about it. Now you know what's the deal, honey. It's getting real in South Africa. It's getting real in the world. 2020, who cursed you and who thought that you should come to us? That is not how it's supposed to be done. But anyways, we are here now. There are so many resources that you can go find. I'm gonna try to link some websites with regards to this, but I don't think that I will find many because this is my personal perspective and my personal belief. But I will try to find articles that are core-relevant to this specific topic that I talked about today. So if you would like me to continue talking about controversial topics or topics that people shy away from, just leave a comment or DM me, and then I will try to gather my knowledge and my resources and my research and give you my point of view. And just know that this is my point of view, this is my belief, and I'm giving you insight on what I see and what I notice and what I believe. Okay, so if you have any contradictory points or objectives whatsoever, let me know. Let's have a conversation. This is a conversation. It's not me telling you what to believe, what to not believe, but I'm just giving you an insight of what I believe. Okay, so yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. And if you learned something, I am glad that I was able to do something in this world and make myself useful. And I hope you learned something from this. Even if it's just one thing. I hope I got my point across. Really, I really hope that I really got my point across. If you want to communicate with me, connect with me in any way, I will leave my social media handle somewhere there. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Really, 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 really appreciate you taking your time to get someone else's perspective of the world. So yeah, bye.